Hello everyone, this is Zenon and you are watching Zenontcg. We are looking at the Limitless online series number 28, which featured 294 players worldwide every Friday. So it happened on 30th of April, Friday, this past Friday. As mentioned, 294 players. Here's looking at a deck list of Karuta from Japan, who took third place with none other than Spiritomb. Playing Spiritomb in the deck, 4 copies. The statistics were 9-0. 9 wins, 2 losses, and 0 ties. There were 5 other players playing Spiritomb. The 2 losses were against ADP Zacian was 1, and the second loss was against Eternatus. So not a bad record, 9-0 for Karuta from Japan playing Spiritomb. Let's see what is in the list. There's 1 copy of Crobat. There's 4 copies of Spiritomb. There's 1 copy of JustANerdyGal for Dede Change. There are 2 copies of Jirachi for Stellar Wish. There's 1 copy of Jinx for Ominous Posture. There's 1 copy of Marshadow for Resetting Hole. There's 1 copy of Mew for Bench Barrier. There's 1 copy of Oricorio GX for the Dance of Tribute. That's all for Pokemon. There's only 12 Pokemon in the deck. Going into trainers, there are 4 copies of Escape Rope. There's 1 copy of Great Catcher. 4 copies of Level Ball. There's 1 copy of Lily's Pokédoll. There are 2 copies of Ordinary Rod, 4 copies of Quick Ball, 4 copies of Scoop Up Net, 4 copies of Switch, 4 copies of Spike Mutt, 2 copies of Bird Keeper, 3 copies of Boss's Orders, 4 copies of Professor's Research, 4 copies of Cape of Toughness. For energy, there are 4 Hiding Energy, and there's 3 Basic Darkness Energy. Here you see, this is the list for Karuta from Japan taking 3rd place at Limitless online series number 28. Happened on the 30th of April. 9, 2, and 0 with the stats. Moving along, we will have a look at a deck list that's taken 13th place, brought to us by Leandro Fernandez from Brazil, playing Altaria and Alolan Muk. It's a control deck, but it's a different way of playing control. Leandro Fernandez from Brazil took 13th place with 6-2-0, 6 wins, 2 losses, and 0 ties. This was the only one deck that played control amongst the 294 players. And 13th place finish, amazing. The 2 losses were, the 1 loss was against Spiritomb, and the other loss was against a Mew Rillaboom deck. So 13th place for Leandro Fernandez playing control. Let's see what else is in the deck brought to us by Leandro. There's Munchlax, 2 Munchlax. There are 2 Snorlax, 2 copies of Swablu, 1 copy of Altaria, 2 copies of Absol, 2 copies of Alolan Grimmer, 1 copy of Alolan Muck, 1 copy of Giratina Dimension Breach, 2 copies of Mew Bench Barrier, 3 copies of Camping Gear, 4 copies of Crushing Hammer, 4 copies of Lily's Pokédoll getting into trainers, 1 copy of Ordinary Rod, 1 copy of Pokemon Communication, 3 copies of Quick Ball, 2 copies of Reset Stamp, 4 copies of Scoop Up Net, 1 copy of Tool Scrapper, 2 copies of Yelhorn, 2 copies of Galarmine, 1 copy of Wondrous Labyrinth, 1 copy of Bill's Analysis, 1 copy of Bird Keeper, 1 copy of Blues Tactics, 3 copies of Boss's Orders, 1 copy of Bruno, 4 copies of Cynthia and Caitlin, 1 copy of Lieutenant Sarge, 2 copies of Will, 2 copies of Capture Energy, and 1 copy of Recycle Energy. Here's your deck list of Leandro Fernandez taking 13th place at Limitless Online Series number 28. We will next have a look at a favorite of everyone's due to its party attitude going into playing the deck. We are looking at Mad Party taking 31st place, brought to us by Matsuji 0620. Mad Party took 31st place. Statistics were 6 wins, 2 losses, and 0 ties. There were 15 other players playing Mad Party, but this was the highest finish for Mad Party, 31st at the Limitless Online Series number 28, brought to us from Japan by Matsuji 0620. The 2 losses were against Dragapult Urshifi and a Mew 3 deck. Let's see what's in the deck of Mad Party by Matsuji. Of course, Mad Party, so there are 4 copies of Bunnelby. There's it's a Minccino Cinccino build, so there's 3 copies of Minccino, there's 3 copies of Cinccino, there's 1 copy of Crobat V, there's 1 copy of Dedenne GX, there are 4 copies of Dedenne for Mad Party attack, there's 1 copy of Mew with Bench Barrier, there's 3 copies of Sinistea, there are 4 copies of Poltergeist, there's 4 copies of Galarian Mr. Rime. That's all for the Pokemon. We're looking at trainers now. There's 1 copy of Escape Rope, there's 1 copy of Evolution Incense, there's 2 copies of Great Ball, there's 2 copies of Great Catcher, there are 4 copies of Level Ball, there's 1 copy of Ordinary Rod, there's 4 copies of Quick Ball, there's 1 copy of Scoop Up Net, there's 1 copy of Power Plant, 2 copies of Boss's Orders, 4 copies of Professor's Research, 2 copies of Roxy, 1 copy of U-Turn Board, and for energy there are 2 copies of Triple Acceleration Energy and 4 copies of Twin Energy. That's all in the deck for Matsuji, who played Mad Party, taking 31st place at Limitless Online Series number 28. Thanks for watching Zenontcg.